Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for joining me on this Thursday, January 1st, 2026. And let's get started because we have quite a bit to talk about. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the teleconnections. Because right now, the North Atlantic Oscillation is negative, but it's going neutral over the next couple weeks. However, don't fret because something else is going to be changing, and that is the PNA. Look how that is trending positive. Most of the models right here are going positive. Only a couple, one, two, or three, going negative. But the other ones are trending neutral to positive. And if you want snow, you want the PNA to be neutral to positive, especially if you live on the East Coast and especially north of DC. If you want big snowstorms in New England, you want the PNA to be positive, but not too positive. You want like between neutral and -2 or +2. You want it to be in this ballpark right around here. You want the PNA to be between 2 and 0. Looking at the NAO, you also want the NAO negative if you want big snowstorms. And look, it's going neutral, but then it's kind of just staying there. And some of the models are even saying it's going to go negative. Some are saying up to +1, but the AO, the Arctic Oscillation, is going to be kind of all over the place. It's going to go to -1, from -1.5, and then down to -3 to +1, and then going back negative as the PNA becomes positive. Right here, this little dip, then AO becomes very negative. Looking at the PNA here, this is when the big dip negative happens, and then right here kind of stays the same, and then it goes towards positive. And this here could herald some major storms along the East Coast. This right here, you really want this. You want the AO to be negative. You want the NAO to be negative to neutral, and you want the PNA to be neutral to positive for major storms along the East Coast. However, a major impact of this will be on sea surface temperatures. Sea surface temperatures have been a major player in this because look how warm the ocean is. This is causing the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, to have a more significant impact on weather in the United States. It used to be those teleconnections would have a major impact, as well as Siberian snow extent in October, which is something that Dr. Cohen noticed. Dr. Julius Cohen, who is a climate researcher specifically about winter storms. Dr. Judah Cohen, sorry, not Judah Cohen. He's noted Siberian snow covered Siberia has a major impact on weather in the United States, especially in winter on the Arctic Oscillation. And it was above normal for most of October, but it started getting down to towards average by the end of October, beginning of November. So, again, sea surface temperature anomalies have been very high, especially in the Arctic. I mean, there's some, you have a La Nina here, but then overall, the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian Ocean, the entire ocean is above normal, with a couple of patches of below average sea surface temperature anomalies. But that's about it. Everything else is above normal, pretty much. So this is going to impact the Madden-Julian Oscillation and weather along the East Coast and Northeast as well, and across the country. So again, let's look at the teleconnections again. Negative NAO trending neutral, or negative PNA trending positive, NAO trending neutral, and Arctic Oscillation only briefly going positive and then possibly being neutral or negative. So a lot can change over the next couple weeks. But odds are we could be having a snowy end of January and beginning of February. So let's look at the climate forecasting right now. Let's look after January 15th, and this is just one model run. And right here, it's trying to show a coastal storm, but look. Again, you see that warmth over Greenland? That's your Greenland high. And then boom, look what happens at the beginning of February. Just as I said, a major cold blast happens. So yeah, things look pretty interesting. Yep. And then let's look at 6Z. This tries to show a storm system, yeah, but then it. Alright, let's look at this again and see what it shows. Yep. Yeah, this is going to be an inland runner, so big storm for like Detroit. This will be a major storm for Detroit. Wow. And look at that cold blast for Louisiana. I mean, that happens. You're talking about some record-breaking snows potentially. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, this is almost like a hybrid system right here. Look at that. And it merges with that coastal storm and turns into a monster. Wow, look at that. And this is definitely a positive PNA right here. Look at all that. Look at all that warmth going into Arizona. Yeah. So yeah, this is a positive PNA. This is what a positive PNA looks like. Ridging along the west coast and then troughiness on the east. But look how it's just everything is being shunted north. You're not getting that typical trough ridge anymore. You're getting basically a giant ridge over the North America. This is because of the MJO. I mean, it's possible you could be getting more and more pieces of polar vortex coming down. And it's possible that we could also be getting more sagging south of the MJO, or I mean of the Arctic Oscillation. So this is showing a negative. This is showing a more negative PNA. Only briefly positive here, and then negative again. So yeah, it showed that positive PNA. Yep, there we go, positive PNA and cold weather on the East Coast typical. Yep, look at that. That is your typical positive PNA. Look at that. That is a classic positive PNA right there. Very classic. Yep. Only briefly shows ridging and yeah. So right here it shows classic PNA, positive PNA, and positive as well. Yeah, things do look kind of interesting looking in the next couple weeks. But it remains to be seen if that will happen or not. But hopefully we will be getting some big storms along the East Coast. We thank you all for watching and we'll make another video soon.